Adventure number 9 starts. Here at the beautiful Hofgarten, which has been the garden area for the royals of Germany since the 1600s. Back then, of course, only the royals were allowed to enter this garden, but now it is an open green space and a beautiful spot here on a lovely Saturday morning. This garden, like most of Munich, was destroyed in World War II and had to be rebuilt. But it is a lovely spot here on a Saturday morning. The topic of today's video is mind over matter. It's a phrase that I've used my whole life when trying to deal with situations where I wanted to make sure rational thought won out over emotions and other factors that might lead to bad decisions. It also is a phrase that I like to use when I'm trying to overcome some procrastination or possibly some aches and pains from something I did the previous day and get into the new day's tasks. The centerpiece of the garden is the Hofgarten Temple, also known as Diana's Temple. 12-sided, 8 archways, built in 1615, back when the royals were the only people allowed to enter the Hofgarten. In keeping with our theme, there are 2 books that I want to talk about. One, which I read as an audiobook, so be warned, it was over 20 hours long, but it's called Enlightenment Now by Steven Pinker. And he believes that the period of enlightenment, when science and reason began to dispel suspicion and myth, was an important time, and that we are using, or he is using, those methods today in this book to use data to show us the progress we've made and how things are not as bad as they may seem just from watching the nightly news. One of the main takeaways I got from the book was the availability bias, where the human mind uses things that it can quickly and easily recall to inform its decision making. But this can backfire on you because when watching that nightly news, things like plane crashes and terrorist attacks are played up so much on the news, and they're such spectacular events that they make a huge impression on the mind that they are often recalled to make us think that things are much worse off in the world today than they really are. Not only can data and reason show us the progress we've made, it is also the key to the solutions to current problems. So this age of enlightenment, which we've had for several hundred years now, is really the key to our future as well. The book I'm reading right now that goes well with our theme today of mind over matter is called Languishing by Corey Keyes. And languishing is a state where you just are not performing well. And there's emotional performance, there's psychological performance, and it's all about well-being and trying to make sure that you are being effective and well-functioning in those areas. I haven't completed that book yet, so I can't give a full review of it, but so far he's been going over what languishing is and isn't, and telling you some of the ways that people end up in these languishing states. The second part of the book, which I'll be beginning soon, will be how to get yourself out of a state of languishing and moving into a state of flourishing. This archway marks the main entrance into the Hofgarten, and it's all right behind the Residenz, and it's right here next to Odeonplatz. Of all the species on the planet, humans are unique in the structure of our brain and our capacity for rational thought. So we should always try to use mind over matter and use our rational thought and the principles of the Enlightenment to further ourselves and further the human race. Thank you for joining me today at Hofgarten, and I hope you'll be watching all the rest of these videos taking place here in Munich. Remember to be content, stay curious, and enjoy the moment.